The year is 2023 and LEGO Star Wars is finally making adult LEGO Clone Wars sets, starting with Captain Rex, set number 75349 with 854 pieces for ages 18 and up, of course. Captain Rex on the all-black box art, looking pretty sweet there. It's not a perfect model, as we'll find out in this review, and the LEGO Star Wars designers have given us an insight as to why that is, but it still just might be what a lot of people are looking for at the $70 price tag for a LEGO Star Wars helmet set. The side of the box is rather simple, but I did want to show you the 20th anniversary Clone Wars logo. The back of the box shows a different angle of the Captain Rex helmet, and after so many original trilogy 18 plus sets, it's nice to see Captain Rex from the Clone Wars on the back here. You can see the helmet is going to measure in at just 8 inches tall, not all that big there, and let's unbox this puppy. Much to my surprise, we actually have a slight upgrade for the cheaper looking instruction manuals. They're no longer using the bad looking renders, they're actually using the good looking render that you'll find on the front of the box. Inside of the manual, we do have a short write-up about Captain Rex before getting into the standard LEGO build. My initial impression, seeing the finished helmet in front of me, I'm very impressed and very happy to have this in my collection. That doesn't mean it's a perfect set, and we're going to go through the good and the bad about this so you can decide if it's worth buying for you. We'll start with the base or the stand for the helmet, and this is something that I'm very surprised LEGO Star Wars designers haven't gone in and meddled with and changed around. Like, usually they won't keep something the same, even though it obviously should be with these helmet collection sets where they're meant to go together, and they'll change it up after a year or two, and then all of a sudden your whole collection doesn't match together. I am very appreciative of that not having happened here. I kind of assume it was intentional for this one, but the bottom 4 studs are blue this time so that it kind of matches the Captain Rex vibe. Just like all the helmet sets before him, Captain Rex includes the printed plaque with the LEGO Star Wars logo and his name. Unfortunately, on my particular set, the P has a bit of a misprint that makes it look kind of bad. As far as details on the actual helmet, we'll start with the side vents here. It is the proper number of side vents with 6, represented with these black markings on stickers. The sticker sheet in this set is a little bit larger than I think you'd want out of a helmet set, but ultimately it's what's necessary to get the appropriate amount of detail on this Phase 2 Captain Rex. I think these stickers are a little bit large. They have a little bit of extra white space, which contrasts to the white of the LEGO plastic a little poorly, but it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's a slight thing that I kind of noticed there. Looking at the tubes though, kind of the tubular shape, I suppose, that wraps all the way around the helmet, it's a nice shape. They do execute that well, and that brings you to the 6 side vents on the other side of the helmet. Yeah, the proper number. That's nice and surprising. The next important section is one that can look a little bit wonky depending on which angle you're looking at. We have the weld lines or the connection lines for where Captain Rex connected the Phase 1 and Phase 2 helmets that he used to create his helmet. And there's a few stickers that create this. The longer sticker on the left that you see actually put those stickers really close together so that there wouldn't be much of a line there, but it is 2 separate stickers, so that is something that you have to be careful when you're putting the set together, so that you put those stickers really close together and that they actually look good on your finished model. Otherwise you'll have a really big gap and it will look awkward, so just a heads up there. But because of how it's constructed, from the front on angle you only see this part of the weld lines, but when you turn it to the side you can see the whole thing, and I actually do think this looks much better from the side than straight on, simply because of that. It's just an unfortunate fact of the way that these sets are built that they couldn't get this at a better angle so that you could actually see it continue easier. These gray circular pieces here, I'm actually not entirely sure what they are on his helmet, but I know they're also on like the Wolf and Fox helmets, and they're accurately represented on this helmet too. I think it looks really good. It's one of the parts of the helmet that I do really like the design of. So now we have to talk about the most controversial section of this helmet, and that is the mouthpiece. And I shouldn't say it's controversial. There's really no controversy to be had here. It's simply too small. It's inaccurate to the actual helmet. A lot of other stuff on this helmet is really accurate, and so when you have something as jarring as that, comparing it side by side, it's very noticeable that that is not as big as it should be. It probably should come out to about where my fingers are, basically twice as big, I would say. The saving grace of this particular section, I suppose, is that it is a printed piece, which is amazing and unexpected given that every other detail on this set is stickered. But I was curious as to why this was, of course, and so So I got a quote from Caesar, who designed this set, and he said, "We tried a few potential solutions, but ultimately all of them would also mean compromises, specifically on the lower tubular sections." I assume he's talking about these sections here, because you'd have to basically build into this to get that gray section to expand. He continues on to say it ended up being with ugly gaps or awkward shapes, so all in all, we ended up with the printed 2x2 wedge plate, as we believe it gives a somewhat cleaner / nicer look. As much as I would have loved this to be a larger section on the set, I definitely can see why they couldn't expand it out. It would have changed the entire front design of this, and it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. If it's an inaccuracy you can look past, basically everything else on this set I feel like is perfectly accurate. If it's not, it's not, but at the end of the day, it's the way it is, and it's definitely not changing at this point. Looking above that inaccurate mouthpiece, though, we have an amazing stare or gaze for Captain Rex. Like, looking into his eyes with that black visor is amazing here, and I think they did a great job with that in particular. It's something that in some of the helmet sets I feel like they do poorly, where this won't all be like even enough. Like, you'll have like one strip of black, and then it will be like a brick deeper that the next strip of black will be, but all of this is kind of brought up and even as best they could, so I'm actually really happy with that. And the blue outline around it is really nicely shaped. There's actually some really good engineering and build techniques going on underneath. It was a really fun build in that way. Above that, we have the Jag eyes, which again uses stickers for detail, and I suppose brick built details for the rest of it, but it does look pretty good there. The tally marks on Rex's helmet are also accurately represented, with 20 tally marks on each side. And then we have the rangefinder or the antenna piece, which looks great in this particular set. I think they did an awesome design on this, and the gray color really stands out with the white and blue helmet design. I was really surprised with how thin they were able to make the attachment area, so there's not like a big gaping hole or anything that you can see even from a side angle. In my experience, it seems to be a really strong design, not something that's going to pop off too easily. It does have a pretty cool shake to it, kind of like one of those door things when you were a kid and you'd make a noise, and you know the thing. It's kind of cool, actually. But yeah, really strong design, surprisingly there, so not something you have to worry about, and it does look really good, and it's attached at the proper point on the helmet, so that is much appreciated as well. At the end of the day, I think this is an easy buy for any fan of Captain Rex from the Clone Wars, as long as you can look past that small mouthpiece, and I certainly can. It is not as jarring to me as something like the cannon on the AAT, especially from certain angles. This helmet looks just fantastic, and it's something I'll be happy to have on my display in the near future. Ultimately, for $70, yeah, it might feel a little bit pricey. It's something you can always wait to go on sale and maybe snag for under $60 and feel a little bit better about, but with recent LEGO price increases, unfortunately, $70 feels like the standard helmet price going forward. So it's a good set. It's a fair value. I won't even talk about the price per piece, but I guess that's there for those people. I don't think there's ever been a better example of a set that's a 9 out of 10. A lot of good things, and one very obvious problem with the Captain Rex helmet being that mouthpiece. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and you can check out more 2023 LEGO Star Wars set reviews on the end screen now.